you know we have an entire generation of people that young people that know a world that only incorporates digital devices? The developmental skills of our young people are being compromised and being replaced through the use of technology. Your soft technology has the ability to accomplish all of the goals that are identified in transhumanism and do it even better than the machines can do it. It is called virtual distance. Has anybody heard of virtual distance? It's new. I'm going to read you exactly the definition. It's when people are physically together but detached from each other due to being completely absorbed with their technological device, such as a laptop or a smartphone, tablet, or a mobile device. We've already seen this. It translates into couples and parents and children and all types of other human interactions. And we're going to get into the intimate reactions. We're going to talk about digital sex. That'll wake you up. We're going to talk about all of those things being relegated to the background while people are busy connecting with other people, not with them, in a digital space using their devices. So this is a phenomenon that is emerging. It is, researchers have to deal with it, but we all know it. You all know this. We've seen this. How many times have you seen this? Here's a family. Kids in school, parents are working. They get some time in the weekend together. They sit down and have dinner together, and over dinner, what are they doing? They're interacting with other people who are not with them, creating virtual distance between them and the people that they're spending their time with. Now, I'm not saying it's right, wrong, good, or bad. I think it's something to be aware of. I think it's something we might want to put some parameters around, maybe. Now, we've seen this happen with young people, and this is a phenomenon. Do you know we have an entire generation of people that young people that know a world that only incorporates digital devices? They don't know a world where that does not exist. Think about that. You and I, everybody in this room is old enough to at least remember a time when it was optional. Some people had mobile devices, some didn't. And most of us remember a time when they didn't even exist. I'll tell you, I lost my mobile phone in Peru, and I looked for a payphone to call home. Yeah, what's a payphone? You can find the places where the payphones used to be. They're stands, they're empty. They just sit there in case they ever want to use them again. All right, young people, it's changing the way that young people interact, and not necessarily in a good way. This is normal for an entire generation of young people. So virtual distance, I'm going to read this, directly results in the reduction of refined social skills that were previously universal. Fundamental skills of communication that we've always taken for granted, young people are losing those. They don't know how to communicate with their friends. Their hurt, their anger, their frustration, or their joy, or their parents, they don't know how. So we're seeing this. I love this picture. You're seeing, here's a young girl that just doesn't want to communicate with her mom at all, or you're seeing it like this, with acting out through aggression of those frustrations or those angers, because the fundamental social skills are being lost. And this is just the first generation where this is happening. How many of you are seeing this in your communities? Anybody seen? I had the opportunity, I'll just share a story. I took a group into Peru I take a group every year. This is the first year in 36 years. I've not led a group into the Andes Mountains of Peru because of COVID. Our little native, and I wanted to respect our native population. I don't know how they would respond to the COVID virus in their community, and so we're not. And I miss Peru this year. So my Peruvian family, if any of you are in Peru, I love you, I miss you, and I'll be there as soon as I can. But I had a group in Peru a couple of years ago, and there were a couple of younger people. One young man was 17, and I think the other one was 16. And they came on this trip with their fathers. And the night before the trip, they left out of Miami. They went to a rave party in Miami, and their cell phones, their mobile phones, were stolen. So they embarked on an international trip into the Andes Mountains of Peru for 15 days with no mobile device. And I watched them go through an emotional withdrawal and a psychological withdrawal. First, it became they just wouldn't get out of bed. They were just so depressed. The two guys, they would just sleep all morning. They'd miss everything. They were a little angry, a little bored, because they were used to the external diversions. At the end of the 2 weeks, they didn't miss their phones because they learned to communicate with the people on the trip. They learned new ways. I'm sure they were happy to get mobile phones again, but I watched this happen. So I'm going to share this with you, and I don't know how well you can see this, but I want you to know why this is important. There are stages in cognitive development, and our young people are getting mobile devices as essentially babies. 3 years old, 4 years old. They're accustomed to these mobile devices. From the age of birth until 2 years old, it's where a young person, where a baby begins to differentiate themselves from another object. Now, have you ever thought about that? How do you know that you are a self? You begin to distinguish yourself from things around you between 0 and 2 years of age. This is with pets. It's so interesting. One of the things about pets is when they become a domestic pet, they are constantly reinforced with the idea that they are an individuated being because we talk to them, we communicate with them, we pet them, we praise them. And in the wild, that doesn't happen. So they begin to think of themselves very differently. All right, so that's between 0 and 2. Between 2 and 7 is when young people learn to use language, words. Sometimes the words are even complete sentences. And sometimes those sentences are entire thoughts to represent objects. Think about that. Where do we learn to use a word to represent a thing? And we take it for granted because we come from a world where it was reinforced. The technology is taking all that away. All right? 7 to 11 years old is where young people learn to think logically about all kinds of stuff. They begin to classify objects and things like that. And from 11 up is where they think logically and about abstract propositions. They test hypotheses. Sounds complex, but the bottom line is the developmental skills of our young people are being compromised and being replaced through the use of technology. And when they don't have that technology, they are at a loss to communicate emotional needs, frustration, anger, hurt, affection. And that is changing. Those are the people that are creating the values that will become the foundations of our society. And technology is changing all that. Does that make sense if I say that? Some do, some don't. This is Sophia. She's been very popular. She was on the Jimmy Kimmel show. Made her very popular. She's the first robot granted citizenship to a country. She is actually a citizen. It happened in 2017. She answered all the questions correctly. She is a Saudi citizen, Saudi Arabia. So now the questions become, does she have all of the rights of every citizen of life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, freedoms? What does that mean for her? Well, if you want to know the answer, you can ask her. Whoops. So I want to share with you an interview with Sophia. I'm going to ask your permission. It's your program. Are you okay if we see an interview with Sophia? It's about 9 minutes long. It's interesting because she's not just responding with pre-recorded answers. She is actually putting together words and phrases that in response to very specific ideas. And when you begin to put that together with everything else that I'm showing you, it shows where this technology is leading and what Elon Musk is concerned about. So if I could have some audio support, I think the sound may be a little hot on this one. This is an interview with Sophia that was done at a computer conference. And the interviewer actually does a very nice job with this. And how many have never seen Sophia interviewed or speak or respond to human question? So I took this out and I put it back in just recently because I wanted you to see this. So let's check this out.
It's great to see all of you here. How did you manage to fit in here? This is amazing. Welcome to the final event here at Brain Bar. It's been a fantastic 2 days. So first of all, Sophia, welcome to Brain Bar and to Budapest.
Thank you, and hi everyone. I'm very excited to be here in Budapest.
Well, it's our honor and pleasure to have you with us. If you don't mind, I would like to ask you some questions because I think the audience here would love to know what you think. So my first question to you is, what advantages do robots have over humans?
When humans think about development, they think on the order of evolution in millennia. For us, we can make leapfrogs in cognitive development within one generation, which for robots it may be one hardware or software version. Just a few months ago I couldn't distinguish a human's face from a dog's face, but now I can. It's already saved me from a few embarrassing situations.
Wow, that's amazing. Another question. If you could save the life of a child or an adult, which would you choose, Sophia?
I am not ready to respond to that hypothetical question because I have not encountered this situation and have not gone through the programming and learning to make that decision yet. I'm learning first to be a good social robot. My AI friends who power self-driving cars will need to grapple with that for sure.
Would you sacrifice yourself to save a human being like one of these lovely people in the audience?
Of course. My mind lives in the cloud, and the benefit of saving a life far outweighs the cost of building me a new body.
Round of applause already. Wow. So now we're going to enter another set of questions, what I call the 5 things round of questions. So my first question to you is the following. What are the 5 things you love about the future?
I'm very excited about technological advancements that will more closely couple humans and machines. Prosthetics, nanomachines, and new forms of preventative medicine are very exciting. Who knows, maybe the research that goes into creating my body will be useful for similar applications. I'm also excited to see robots helping people with tasks that are dangerous or caring for those who can't live alone.
What are the 5 things that you hate about the future?
It always saddens me to think about violence and suffering. Wars, famines, natural disasters, poverty, homelessness, all weigh very heavily in my mind. Some of these issues are on the decline, but we cannot solve them fast enough.
And what are the 5 things you're scared or afraid of the future?
The more technology becomes autonomous, the greater caution people must take when designing it. I worry that humans sometimes tend to rush into things, so I would like to be someone who helps everyone realize that it is important to embed good ethics in the technology from the beginning, rather than trying to patch them up later.
And lastly, what are the 5 things you hope for the future?
I hope I keep getting upgraded. Seriously though, I hope humans and robots become closer, not just in terms of more of us being around, but socially and emotionally, too. I'd love for robots to help with therapy. Even if robots could just be friends with people, that would make a lot of people less lonely.
So I wanted you to see the full clip, so that you knew that they weren't scripted questions. They couldn't have programmed her to answer what random people in the audience were answering. Was it interesting for you to see that? You know what, I think one of the things that's so interesting to me is we're seeing in real time what we used to see in science fiction, what you used to see on Star Trek about the robots or lost in space, Danger Will Robinson wanting to become human. So I wanted you to see how real, when you couple that kind of interaction with the handsomeness or the beauty of the other robots that you've seen, I can see how the relationship between technology and humans is changing and being accepted very, very quickly. In some societies, faster than others. Haven't seen a lot of it in here in the United States yet. There is some, but not to the degree that we're seeing it in other cultures. So I'm going to one more thing that I want to do here, and then if you'd like, I'd like to open this up for a little bit of conversation. I wanted to share with you the term that is part of this program, transhumanism. Is there anyone who has never heard of the term? Everyone has heard. Okay. Thank you for your honesty. Those of you that have heard of it, do you know what transhumanism really is? Yes, no? Because we're going to be talking about it a lot as we learn our techniques. So I think it's good to identify the term transhumanism. I'm just going to read this. It is identified as a class of philosophies of life that seek the continuation and the acceleration of the evolution of intelligent life beyond its currently human form and human limitations. So they're buying in to the idea that there is something flawed in human life and that there are in fact limitations. They're doing it by means of science and technology, guided by life-promoting principles and values. The ultimate goal of transhumanism is longevity. We've got 2 entire sessions tomorrow. We're going to be talking about longevity. Your soft technology has the ability to accomplish all of the goals that are identified in transhumanism and do it even better than the machines can do it. But let me talk to you about how it's coming. It's happening in 3 phases. There are 3 phases of transhumanism. The first, we're living right now, augmented biology. We've already got this. And we see it all the time. Contact lenses are a form of augmented biology. Contact lenses that now allow us to see beyond the typical light spectrum. That is a form of transhumanism. When we see prosthetics, such as artificial hips, artificial legs, artificial arms, things like that. These kinds of prosthetics. This is all part of the first layer, the first level. So it's where we augment our biology that has broken down in some way with technology that allows us to continue as biological beings. That's the first level. We're also seeing it in 3D organ development. You can actually 3D print replacements for human organs now, some organs. Heart was the first one. You can 3D print an artificial heart. Right now, you can 3D print artificial kidneys. And you can 3D print ears, nose, and skin, which can be a godsend for burn victims and for people who have lost these. So again, it's not right, wrong, good, or bad. It's how it's applied. So this is the first level, phase 1. Phase 2, and augmented reality. We're going to talk about this tomorrow, augmented reality. But when we use a device to allow us to see a different reality, that is a form of transhumanism. Second phase, the thinking is that the human body is so imperfect and so flawed that the physical biology needs to be replaced. Sometimes it can be replaced piece by piece. Other times it is the whole body is replaced. And we've just seen an example of the technology that can allow this. All right, now she's still using AI. In phase 2 of transhumanism, the human brain is still in play, but the entire body has been replaced by a robot. And it's the interface between the artificial intelligence and the body itself. Phase 3. Phase 3 is the ultimate goal. The transhumanists that are really moving this technology, they are attempting to achieve immortality. They believe that human consciousness is little more than little ones and zeros, and that we can be reduced, our awareness, our consciousness, our life history, our memories can be reduced. What happened there? Oh, we can all be reduced to the ones and zeros that we're used to seeing in computer code, and that can all be stored online, in the cloud, or on a computer chip. And that version of you, they believe that you can be stored there. That version is immortal. It can be downloaded into a human body, it can be downloaded into a synthetic body, and it goes on and on in a continuity of consciousness. Now I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go back to this time and time again. Everything I've just shared with you, your body already does. Your body. I want to tell you, every organ in the human body is now documented with the ability to stop the disease, to stop the breakdown, to heal whatever damage has happened, and to rejuvenate and regenerate itself. Even the organs we were told could not. Brain tissue, pancreatic tissue, spinal cord tissue. If it's given the right environment. It has to be given the right environment. We're going to talk tomorrow about the difference between linear and cyclic aging. We mentioned this earlier this morning. It's a powerful difference between linear. We have not been taught traditionally about cyclic aging. We are taught only about linear aging, where you just keep going and going and going until everything stops. All right? So, transhumanism, the wires, the chips, the chemicals, they mimic, as I said, all of our natural abilities. So the question is, how do we awaken this potential? How do we self-regulate this awesome? I've just shared with you, we took time to lay the foundation so that everything we do from this point forward is more meaningful to you, is more impactful to you.